Yes. All praises. More heights, more life into the ones and ones tuned in right now. Give thanks and praise, Yeah, this is a breakthrough moment. This is a breakthrough moment. This is a breakthrough moment. Wow. This is a breakthrough moment because right now, upon this planet, what we are witnessing is a strong transition from human beings reaching the next step of their evolution in this time. And whenever that happens, there's always what we would like to call negativity. There's always some type of darkness. It's like a veil that we have to push through, and that's turbulence. When you take off from an airplane, it's very shaky and it's turbulent at first. But if you choose to continue to push through, keep that groundedness and push through, when you get to the top, you will begin to see the light. And that's the time that we're in right now. Humanity in this time is going through that turbulent phase right before we ascend through the peak. This is not the first time this has happened on Earth. There's so much I want to break down about that. I'm going to try to keep the video very limited, but this is not the first time this has happened on Earth. And every time we get to this point of evolution, there are angelic bodies. There are beings that do not exist on this physical planet, but have always watched over top of our development. Each and every planet goes through their phase of conscious evolution. The Melchizedek order, I've done a video previously on the Melchizedek order. The Melchizedek order is a divine order that is headed by Lord Melchizedek. And the responsibility and the job of Lord Melchizedek is to send light to planets that are going through their evolutionary process. Because like I said, every planet goes through a process. And we as humanity right now are going through our process. This isn't the first time we've been through this process. During the times of Atlantis, we were actually at a much higher state than we are right now. But as we shifted from going into a higher state into a much higher state, there were certain entities on the planet that wanted to keep power to themselves. Instead of releasing and allowing, the power to transition naturally, they wanted to be very controlling, very similar to what we're seeing today. Very similar to what we're seeing today. There's nothing new under the sun. So this type of control, this type of push and pull between, this side and that side, it's always a side that's trying to keep something controlled. But it's always the choice of the planet as a whole as to where this leads to. So, and for the sake of what happened in the Atlantean times, the Atlantean times actually fell in consciousness. Because during that push and pull, a catastrophic event happened. And this catastrophic event shook up the whole atmosphere and the whole energetic grid of what was set in place during that Atlantean time. So that whole thing collapsed. And it caused for a collapse in consciousness. It collapsed from a state of being where we once moved whole bodily. Now our bodies are compartmentalized. We within ourselves are compartmentalized. We within our neighborhoods are compartmentalized. We within our, you know, it wasn't always this way. And it's shifting out of this way. What we're beginning to see now is the brink of human evolution once again. There is a physical matrix grid, consciousness grid. On top of that, though, is the Christ consciousness grid. And what we have to do is make sure that if you're an individual that's seeking the higher heights, the next level of your evolution, the next level of your being, you have to draw information, wisdom, and life from this higher Christ consciousness grid. It's no longer to draw from the physical matrix grid. So I'm here to tell you and let you know that there is a Christ consciousness grid that exists and is currently in place. And what we have to do as individuals is tap into that Christ consciousness grid. And the more of us that tap into that Christ consciousness grid, we actually help planet Earth ascend to that Christ consciousness grid. Because this is a Christed planet. The planet Earth is a Christed planet. And we have to work in union, bringing the heavenly realm and energies down, but also bringing the earthly energies up. So we kind of meet in the middle, heaven on earth, as above, so below. Our Father who art in heaven, holy be thy name, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. So that's to completely understand that the Christ consciousness grid is up there and it's present, it's live, and it is almost as if it is a responsibility for individuals that know about this to find some type of way to share this light, to share this grid. That can be done many different ways. You can go out and speak like I'm speaking now. You can post. You can talk to people. You can even just be your authentic Christ-like self. And when you walk into a room, when you walk into a store and you greet somebody and you're smiling and you're showing kindness, you're showing them an example of something that they can do too. So there is a work. There is a wow, this is so much information. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Wow. All in all, just know that this is actually a beautiful time on the planet. It really is a beautiful time on the planet. And know that there are angelic. There are beings, highly evolved beings who are more evolved than us, that we have the potential to be even greater than ourselves, that are existent and they're here and they're present and they all exist on different levels. Some are more physical like ourselves, some are purely angelic. Your personal guardian angels are purely angelic. Though they communicate to you, it's a way that you have to find how they communicate to you, because each person has their own personal relationship with their angelic, counsel. Each person has angelic beings that watch and guard over them. So you have a personal relationship to your own angelic counsel. At the same time, you have abilities to listen to beings who are more physical, who can communicate to ones on earth as well. We are the technology. Our bodies, our mind, our emotions, our thoughts are powerful instruments in driving this body. So this is the informational download for today, and We just give thanks, we give praise each and every time. We show love, we show life. This video is 10 minutes long, so I will shut it down very soon. But if you have questions, feel free to ask away, and I will be and show thee. Yes, we give thanks and praise though. It's a beautiful time. It's a powerful time to be here on this planet Earth. Have no fear in what is being presented to the masses right now, because those that are presenting these things have to pull all the stops at this point, because their time is literally up. So they have to pull all of the stops. But I firmly believe that there are enough of us that won't allow this to happen. Because there are beings who went down that road of control and allowing technology to overpower and to supersede that of nature. There are beings that we know of. We call them the Greys. Yeah. Those gray aliens actually were earthlings, earth-like beings like us at one point. What ended up happening is that they began cloning too much. They began cloning and they began disrespecting nature. They were very technologically sound and technologically advanced, but they cloned themselves. And anyone that knows genetics knows that the more that you clone, the weaker the gene pool begins to get. So what ended up happening is that they cloned themselves to the point where they can no longer procreate. We don't want to get to that point on this planet, and we will not get to that point on this planet. We have a choice. We have a choice. And I say we choose nature. I say we choose God creation. Not to say that technology doesn't have its point, but let's keep a good balance between technology and nature. It's all about balance. And let's not forget the true technology that is right here, right now. We need not create anything outside of ourselves that is better than what we have here. We can create outside of ourselves to assist and tools to use, but we can never forget that the best technology is here, the self, it's you. So, without further ado, we give thanks and praise. And I'm going to upload this video. And for ones and ones on the Amun Healing YouTube channel, feel free to please ask questions, because there's so much information that I just briefly touched on that I would love to do a complete full video for. Anything that I mentioned. The Melchizedek Order, the Christ Grid, the Greys, Atlantis. So much. And so many of us are looking for this information. So we give thanks, yes. And continue to know that there's strong light beings that are here on this planet and watching. The only thing they just can't do is interfere with our free will. So we can take the information that they're giving, we can ask, we can continue to pray and communicate with them. But when it comes to the decisions that we make here and now, it's solely up to us. And we must make those decisions. We must be active every day in our lifestyle. Hail up the Most High at all times. Give thanks and praise. Blessed love.